this weekend coming up, we'll be playing in the rematch to what many say is the best NFL game and best NFL playoff game of all time. Many say this, where Mahomes famously scored to get to OT in 13 seconds and ended up winning in overtime. It was probably the biggest heartbreaker in NFL history. That for damn sure. That was definitely the biggest heartbreaker. Buffalo Bills fans thought they had that game won. Josh Allen and his whole family thought they had that game won. But anyway, leading up to this point, both teams are 4-1. They have the top two scoring offenses in the league, and this might surprise some people, but the Chiefs have the number one scoring offense in the league, and that's without Tyreek Hill. So just for many people who thought that wasn't going to happen this year. So the Chiefs have the number one scoring offense, Bills number two. Bills are the current Super Bowl favorites in Vegas's eyes. The Chiefs are the second highest team with the Super Bowl odds right now. So you got the top two Super Bowl favorites in this game on Sunday. So that's interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. I thought we were going to number three or something, but number two. So the Bills just romped the Steelers by 30 points on Sunday, and the Chiefs just snuck by the Raiders. So my question is, JD, with all things considered, with a team that's eliminated the Bills the last 2 years in the playoffs, and then in the fashion that we did this past playoffs, who has the bigger edge going into this game on Sunday?
Who has the bigger edge going into the game? Yeah. Who has the bigger edge? You know what? I'm going to say the edge is going to go to the Chiefs because of you're playing in Arrowhead Stadium. Okay? You're actually going back to where the biggest disappointment ever happened to you. So mentally, I could still be messing with you, right? And so hopefully that's weighing in on them. I do. I hope that's weighing in about what happened to them last time they was in the stadium. How disappointing that same feeling is coming out. I hope when they're flying here, they are wallowing in all of that agony what they went through last year. Seriously. And so they'll remember once they get in Arrowhead, and they'll see the fans booing them and saying all different things. So I'm just going to say the edge goes to the Chiefs because we're playing at home. Okay? So that's my assessment of it. I just think, when we play at Arrowhead, we're playing at home. And they got us as the underdog, by the way. They got us 4 points. It's crazy. Look, I know what Arrowhead is. They know what Arrowhead is. You've seen plenty of people talk about former players, the significance of Arrowhead and the ambiance and the environment that you're playing in. And it's going to be a hostile environment for those guys. And I hope they have nightmares from that time, and we continue to give them nightmares. It's coming up on Halloween, so we're just going to be Jason and Michael Myers on these jokers come Sunday.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger and nightmares. Give them nightmares.
Oh, yeah. Freddy Krueger.
So you brought up a good point, and this is something that, I think last year we kind of had a similar question when we played them. Is this the lingering, losing the AFC Championship game last year? Is that lingering in their minds when they come to play this year? And you guys now it's a new team, new season and stuff. But I think you brought up a good point. It's in the fashion, the way they lost last year, which kind of once they get to the field, that's so hard to not think about and how close they came to winning that game. And you thought you had it, and now you're back into that that dream world, really, because they a lot of those guys said they didn't feel like it was real. They couldn't understand him. I think Josh Allen sat there and just on the bench for another hour after the game. He couldn't believe what just happened. I mean, that's hard to get over, right? When a loss like that.
Oh yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you had to think right there. 13 seconds was that changed everything, right? I mean, everybody was going in and look, and to be honest with you. The Chiefs were the same way before they went and scored down. The Chiefs had to handle it. I mean, if we stopped Josh Allen on their fourth down, game's over. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so we didn't stop him, and they get a chance, they go down and they score. And it's just like, oh, man, it's over. And it was a sigh of relief. Oh, my goodness, I can't believe, they was elated because they beat the Chiefs, or at least they thought they beat the Chiefs, in Arrowhead during that playoff game. But then at 13 seconds, and, Kelce and, do it, Kelce, the old do it, Kelce. The old Grim Reaper coming out with the sickle, giving the Tyreek Hill, and guys go down, 13 seconds change everything. Buckner kicks a beautiful field goal, and guess what? Hey, the course of history has changed, right? The course has changed. So I think that is going to weigh on significantly. I do. There's a lot of different pieces this year on both teams. And so they're going to do the job of just having them guys capture the moment of what this thing means for them, right? And just letting them know. Look, and I'm sure the young guys who coming in, everybody remembers that play. Everybody remembers that game. I'm sure when they was in college, they was watching this too.
Everyone.
And so everyone was watching it. If you didn't watch it, you heard about it.
Yeah.
So I know this is going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game, a hard-fought battle. But like I said, that's why I give the edge to the Chiefs, man. I just do. So we'll see. And look, everybody's sitting there talking about how great the Bills are. All right, I'm going on my little rant right now. But they're not an unbeatable team. You see them get beat. Okay? They almost got beat by the Ravens. So they could have had 2 losses. Easy. The teams they beat is the 1-4 Steelers, okay? And what is it? The 2-3 Rams. So, and the 3-2 Titans. That's who they beat. That's their wins. And the Ravens 3-2, which they should have lost to.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're an unbeatable team whatsoever. I don't buy into it. I get Josh Allen is a great football player. He's a great quarterback. Taking nothing away from him. They have great wide receivers in Diggs and in Davis, right? McKenzie. Their running game is just suspect, for one, okay? They suspect. They always have been the past few years. Their defense has gotten better. They got a better defense, okay? They do. But I think we're ready for that. Spag's going to have something for Josh Allen and the wide receivers, okay? And Knox, I don't know if Knox is going to play or not. He's going to have something for that. Same thing offensively. Andy and Bieniemy, they're going to have something for their defense. Yeah. And so these guys are going to be ready. They're going to be prepared. And the Chiefs understand the significance of this game too, okay? And I'm sitting there saying, this here is a battle of like, who's going to be at the top of the NFL after this game is over? Yeah. I mean, this is how the dust settles after this. Whoever wins this game is going to be at the top of the NFL at that moment. And so, yeah, it's too early, but this is a great test. It's a great test between 2 great teams just to see where you are from what it has been these past few weeks. Yeah. But my edge is to the Chiefs. I just think that we have what it takes, to beat these guys. I do.
And this is something that I saw. Because a lot of people thought we were going to lose the Raiders because, we were looking ahead, right? And I looked and saw, I forgot what the numbers were, but teams that beat teams by 30 points, the record the following week is actually a losing record. Teams that win by 30, the following week they end up losing. But they have a higher loss percentage there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. Do you think there's anything to that, us playing in such a close game where we kind of had battle for that win versus a team where Buffalo steamrolled rookie first start for Kenny Pickett, Steelers 38-3 at home. I mean, is there anything to that where they're coming off a high school football team versus us having to play in an AFC West battle? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, you could sit there and say, if you have a hard-fought game, you're battle-tested, you're battle-ready. You just had a harder road to get to where you needed to get to. And so what that does, it toughens you up. Mentally, it prepares you, toughens you up. When you just got finished blowing somebody out, who wasn't really a very good football team, you tend to relax a little bit. So I could see some of that. I could definitely see some of that. Because what ends up happening is, okay, shoot, this last game was like, whew, and you took it easy. So you didn't really get the type of hard work that you really needed. It was easy for you mentally to deal with things, easy for you physically. But now you're coming into fighting somebody who have seen the blows and just went through a hard week, okay? And they're ready. Matter of fact, that hard week prepared them for this week coming up. And so it's all about preparation. It's kind of shocking, but I understand. I get it. I get why that may be, a thing. I really do. That's interesting. That's interesting to hear.
I was surprised by that. Yeah, I was watching the Colin Cowherd show earlier, and they talked about that little nugget, which was like, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean? You got to figure there's not many 30-point blowouts in the NFL. It happened. I mean, it happens, but like 30 points, and then you come back to next week, and you kind of lay down to your opponent because you think you're the best. Winning by 35 points. That's interesting.
You see things happen in boxing all the time, right?
Yeah.
When the guy's like, hey, he's the champion, and he's winning by easy, knocking him out in the first round, so he can get to work. And all of a sudden, you get a guy who went, all the way, and he's just a fall hard slugging fest coming out. And so the very next fight, it's like, oh man, this dude, man, it took him forever to try to get that win. He won on a decision, right? Yeah. Of all things. And then all of a sudden, you go and fight this dude, and this dude's hitting you with punches. I'm like, God, leave. Where this? Oh my gosh! And he still has that grit from that last fight. You know what I'm saying? He's throwing punches because he's like, this is my life. And now, you just, and so I think it's part of what it is. I think that's what it is, man.
And I think you hit on it. The schedule that they've had, it's been kind of a softball schedule leading into this. And I know Miami is good. They lost Miami, but, Baltimore, they should have lost that game. You talk about Pittsburgh, and then where we've just gone from, obviously the Colts game, and then we go from Colts to Bucks. That was everyone's NFC favorite. And then we go to Oakland or Vegas. Vegas comes to town, and that's an AFC West battle. Those go either way.
Vision game.
Crazy. I mean, and they're coming off these patty cake games, so like there is something to that as well. So yeah, I definitely I like that aspect of it as well. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.